All right, today we're going to focus in on the 49ers offense, how it's set up, how it looks entering the 2025 season. 49ers did not do a whole lot in the draft that'll have an impact on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe a free agent acquisition a couple days after the draft might have an impact. 49ers certainly hope not. But so we'll talk about the offense today, how it looks, how it looked last year, changes, and everything else. But first, I wanted to remind you that this video is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery. Originally located in Moraga, now with a location in the Livery in Danville, right off of 680. Great location. They have a wide variety of beer styles to satisfy all your needs, as well as a great menu. So check it out. All those tasty bites, fun for the entire family. Canyon Club Brewery, first in Moraga, now in Danville, both locations. Fantastic outdoor space. So as the weather is starting to turn, uh, Canyon Club Brewery will be a great place to hang out. Okay, so let's talk about the offense and just kind of a recap last year. 49ers were, um, when you look at them offensively, I pay a lot of attention to yards gained, and I know it doesn't, there can be a disconnect between yards gained for an offense and scoring. Obviously, scoring is the main thing, but I do think that looking at the 49ers offense last year, fourth in the NFL in total yards, only behind Baltimore in yards per play. Baltimore checked in at 6.8 yards per play. 49ers were 6.2. That's the same as Detroit and Tampa. Um, 49ers weren't as good in scoring points, 13th in the NFL in scoring points. Now, a lot of that I actually put on the 49ers defense. 49ers defense was not very good as far as taking the ball away. And when you look at some of the top scoring teams, a big influence on that is just field position and the short fields that offenses then can convert. So when you look at the top scoring teams in the league, Buffalo, Detroit, Baltimore, Buffalo was plus 24 takeaway giveaway. Detroit was plus 9. Baltimore was plus 8. 49ers were minus 10. So that goes a long way toward that. Where the 49ers were very, very average. 14th in the NFL in scoring touchdowns inside the red zone. They were far worse than that for most of the season, but they picked it up later in the year, scoring touchdowns 57.1% of the red zone trips. And like I said, I think a little bit of that is skewed by they finished pretty strong in that area. Okay, so now let's look at just the offense. Gone from last year's offense, Deebo Samuel, Aaron Banks, Jordan Mason. The 49ers got a half season out of Brandon Ayuk. That was the first half of the season. This year, they'll probably get a half season out of Brandon Ayuk, but it's going to be the second half of the season. What remains to be seen, what the 49ers are getting from a couple of injured guys last year, Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. So I think a lot of the 49ers' hopes for this season is contingent on those two guys, Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams, being healthy throughout the year. Maybe that's a big ask, but those are two positions where the 49ers can automatically and immediately upgrade without changing their roster at all. And their roster really hasn't changed much at all when it comes to the offensive side, other than the guys that I said who are leaving, and then the people that the 49ers hope will be coming back to the lineup. Wide receiver position, I talked about Ayuk, probably won't be available for certainly the first 4 games of the season and maybe longer. 49ers wide receivers, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Demarcus Robinson, who might miss the first few games as well. Uh, and also Jordan Watkins, the fourth round draft pick from Ole Miss. So not sure how much of an impact he'll make. Jacob Cowing, 49ers would hope that he can supply a little something. The running back position, as I mentioned, McCaffrey, Isaac Guerendo, Jordan James, the draft pick a fifth rounder from Oregon who has a chance to make an immediate contribution. The other positions, of course, for here should be a little bit better at the backup quarterback position. Certainly no competition for that backup job this year behind Brock Purdy, as that belongs to Mac Jones. And then at tight end, George Kittle and Luke Farrell. So the 49ers feel good about the backup tight end being a blocking specialist. They consider Luke Farrell an upgrade over Eric Saubert, who was in that role last year. So, in a lot of ways, Luke Farrell and George Kittle kind of auxiliary pieces to the 49ers offensive line, more so Farrell than Kittle, of course. But let's talk about that offensive line. And I think the 49ers believe that with continuity, that line will be better. Of course, like I mentioned, a big if, if Trent Williams at this stage in his career can stay healthy through the entire season, or at least through most of the season, 49ers should definitely be improved from their performance a year ago at left tackle. Then you have where Colton McKivitz is, 29 years old in August, entering his contract year. He should be a better right tackle than he was last year and the year before. Jake Brendel at 33. Now, I think you could look at Brendel and say, well, he probably won't be as good as he was last year because he's 33 years old. However, I think he'll probably be about the same. I think anything that he might be losing as far as the age factor would probably be offset by the fact that he didn't play a whole lot of football at the NFL level, virtually none before the 2023 season or 22 season, I guess it was, when he became the starter there. So anything that he might be losing in age, I just don't think that there was that wear and tear on him leading up to that. So expect Jake Brendel to be about the same. And I know what you're saying, that that's not good enough. And you very well might be right. But I know the 49ers believe that Brendel brings something to that position that they don't have in the other centers as far as just the all-around game. And looking at, I've cited it before, but PFF has him ranked right around 12th as far as centers in the NFL who played more than 700 snaps last season. And so he's, I would say, right around middle of the pack center as far as the centers who played, who were durable and played last season. So the other positions, Dominic Pooney, second year in the NFL. You would think that he would improve on last year. I think that might be a little bit difficult because he did play so well as a rookie, but should be about the same, if not a little bit improved. And then the one position where it's a wild card is at left guard. Now, I don't think that Aaron Banks had a great season last year, although you might have a difficult time convincing the Green Bay Packers of that. They paid big money to lure him to Green Bay as a free agent. So the first guy in line, it would appear, would be Ben Bartch at left guard. And this is a guy that has starting experience. He started 20 games with the Jacksonville Jaguars from 2020 to 2023. He turns 27 in July. So now he's been around the 49ers system. He knows it very well. It's he should be about the same, different style than Aaron Banks, probably a little bit better getting out, hitting a moving target, maybe not as stout as Aaron Banks, but Ben Bartch, there shouldn't be much drop off at all. If there's any drop off at left guard. And then when you look at the key backups, the key backups for the 49ers right now, I would say two guys, and I guess um, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt. If DJ Humphrey stays healthy, I would think that he would be one of the 49ers backups, maybe even the swing tackle. The question is, at his age, he's over 30, and he's had some injury-plagued seasons. Can he stay healthy? But I would think, all things being equal, the two backups for sure on game days would be Spencer Burford and DJ Humphries. And then it's basically Um, these five guys competing for one roster spot as far as who gets a uniform on game days. And so among these five, the 49ers want to find one player, and maybe Nick Zakelj is the front runner because he can play center, he can play guard, he's versatile. So the players are Nick Zakelj, Austin Pleasance, a late season pickup who plays tackle, Matt Hennessy, a guard center combination who could compete, who will compete with Nick Zakelj for that backup job. Um, Drake Nugent, who spent last year on the practice squad, more of a true center, and also Connor Colby, the draft pick. So Connor Colby will probably stick around, I would imagine, as a seventh round pick from Iowa, shows some athleticism. I would think that he would be, I would have him as a favorite for a spot on the 53-man roster. And then it becomes whether he can actually earn a uniform and serve in a backup role. Heck, he might be looking at this as an opportunity at left guard to be able to compete and start as a rookie. I think that's a tough ask. So, all in all, if you look at the 49ers, where they are offensively, there is a lot of kind of stuff that remains to be seen. And maybe it's a leap of faith for 49er fans and the 49ers as a whole to expect that the offense will be improved. I mean, Deebo Samuel, despite how things ended with the 49ers, he was such an important part of the 49ers offense for as long as he was with the team. Got off to a good start last year before things kind of went south on him. But replacing Deebo Samuel and Aaron Banks and Jordan Mason, that's what the 49ers will be looking at. And then just staying healthy. When I was at the NFL annual meeting in Florida about a month ago, so much talk about if Christian McCaffrey is healthy this season, 49ers offense receives a big jolt. But the question is, whether he can do that, that will all remain to be seen. Last week, when he appeared for the 49ers started their offseason program, he said no restrictions. He's feeling great. He's working hard to stay healthy, and so that'll be a big key with the amount of punishment that running backs take. I would think, I've said this before, so stop me if you heard it, that the 49ers would like to, now that they have Garindo and they have Jordan James, maybe really make a priority of taking the ball out of Christian McCaffrey's hands a little bit, uh, resting him. 17 game regular season is a tough, tough grind. So I do think when it comes to those high impact positions, such as running back, um, certainly Kyle Shanahan, Bobby Turner, um, Clay Kubiak, those guys who run the offense, they need to be more cognizant of taking the hits, the wear and tear away from the running backs. And they have depth at the running back position. And this year they have three running backs who not only can run the ball, but they can also catch the ball. So there is that opportunity for them to mix and match a little bit. There is the opportunity to give Christian McCaffrey a break, every whatever three offensive series, get him off the field and get Garindo in there or get Jordan James in there. So that's where the 49ers offense is right now. I think that there are a lot of good pieces there. They still have a very strong scheme and they still have their quarterback. Just an update on Brock Purdy. I think the George Kittle contract certainly helps as far as facilitating where that thing is going as far as Brock Purdy's contract. I haven't heard anything about anything being imminent. I certainly haven't heard anything about the sides just kind of grinding to a halt and there being any kind of stalemate. I know the sides continue to talk. There was certainly a divide on where the 49ers came in and what Brock Purdy's agent is looking for. But I would assume over time, those differences will start to get ironed out. And Brock Purdy is taking part in the 49ers offseason program. So that is certainly a good sign for the 49ers. It eliminates all of the distractions that we dealt with or we had to talk about last year at this time with Brandon Ayuk staying away and Christian McCaffrey staying away and Trent Williams staying away. So um, there seems to be an emphasis and an importance placed on not having the off the field stuff carry over to impact the 49ers on the field. So right now, I'd say the 49ers feel like, I think they this bared out by how they approach the draft, that the offense is right there with the ability to return to a high level as they showed at times last year, even with everything that was going wrong, all the injuries and everything else. So get some of their guys back, create that continuity on the offensive line. And the 49ers believe like their offense is good enough to play significant, consistent, winning football. All right. That's kind of a rundown on where the 49ers stand after the draft. As far as the draft picks go, uh, Jordan James could make an impact as a rookie running back. However, right now McCaffrey and Grindo are ahead of him. Curtis Rourke, the quarterback the 49ers took in the seventh round, he's probably not going to see any of the field in training camp. I would expect this to be a redshirt year, and let's give him another look in 2026. Connor Colby will certainly be the guard will be fighting for a roster spot, a spot on the 53-man roster this season. And who knows if he's gets off to a good enough start and shows that he is, up to that Dominic Pooney level, which of course is a very tough ask. Maybe he can get on the field as a rookie. And then the other one, Junior Bergen, a wide receiver from Montana, seen more as, did I mention Jordan Watkins? I did. Jordan Watkins, the wide receiver from Ole Miss in the fourth round, has an opportunity to see maybe a small package of plays per game early in the season, and then develop that as the year goes on. So certainly adds to the 49ers depth at the wide receiver position. And while we're talking about him, might as well talk about Isaiah Nayer from Nebraska, seen as a really physical talent, just a very raw route runner and technician at the wide receiver level, but with the physical tools. And he's a tall kid, 6'4", so a different body type for the 49ers. Has an opportunity, if he can grasp the system, he has an opportunity to make an impact with the 49ers. Of course, it'll be difficult for any rookie to do that, especially an undrafted rookie in year one, but we'll see if he can show the signs and the promise and the potential to win a spot. And then I think, did I mention Junior Bergen, the wide receiver from Montana, seen more as a special teams guy as far as a return specialist. So that's kind of a rundown of the offense post draft. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And that is it for now.